Learning from mistakes is it's one of the things that I preach about on this channel, and maybe you guys can learn along with me, right? This got graded on my first pre-screen, and for some reason I put the pre-screen on the Amazing Spider-Man 365s at 9.2s. The highest one that I got back was a 9.4. I thought that they were very harshly graded, but I learned that I gotta press these before I get them graded, press and clean them. It's still pretty harsh though. You know, I was always under the suspicion, especially with this book, that a pressing might create stress lines on the spine, or because of the hologram. You know, I didn't like the prospect of maybe heat getting introduced into or moisture getting introduced into the hologram. But I've seen other examples of other books that I sent in that maybe the pressing is going to help. I'm going to find out, because I got about probably 14 of these that are going to be sent out to a presser to get pressed and submitted to Mr. Gary Kendra. So we'll see what happens when all is said and done. Though I'm going to be holding on. I've made up my mind that I'm going to hold on to these books. The most I can get for this book right now is probably around $50, $55 if I'm lucky, for a newsstand. I refuse to do that right now, because I think this book is going to get hot in the next 2 years, like really hot, after the Spider-Verse movie, if he appears in there, and I expect that to happen. So I think this book is a very underrated book right now, much like the Hobgoblin was for a while. But then all of a sudden that book also started taking off, and it's been taking off ever since. The Hobgoblin hasn't even been in a movie or anything like that, right? Hasn't even been in comics. I haven't seen the Hobgoblin comics, and man, it's been decades, right? But I think that's what's going to happen to this. Now, I think the Hobgoblin is going to make an appearance soon. In one of Kate's panels, right? I think it's in the virus character. He was holding a pumpkin bomb. That might be something to come with the Hobgoblin. I don't know. But anyway, let's start this off. So this is a 25 book pre-screen, my second one, and this time they're all going to be pre-screened to 9.8s. You notice that I keep getting these "something's killing the children." So this is what I think about this book, very highly, because I'm getting a whole bunch of them. Keep in mind, I was out of the hobby, at least monetarily I was out of the hobby for quite a while. So I kind of missed the entire decade. I mean, I was collecting, but I was collecting things to read. My Batmans, my Thors, right? Thanos's. I was still collecting stuff in the cosmic realm, but I wasn't specking. The specking was done for me for a while. I missed out on Ultimate Fallout. It came out in 2011, so this decade started off with a bang. It started off with a grail, and I think everybody right now has to agree that Miles Morales is a grail in any one of his issues of #1, right? But I think this decade is also going to finish with a grail, and this is going to be that grail. Something's killing the children. I think all the issues of #1, and there's a ton of variants, but I think they're all going to hold value. Now, which one is going to be the highest one? And that's the tricky part. Used to be that the first printing was the one that the collectors would go after. It was the first printing. Second printings used to be nothing before, especially back in the 80s and the 90s. They really weren't anything. For the most part, I mean, you had your Incredible Hulk 377 that, had, what printing was that? Third printing or whatever it was, but I never even got into it because I always wanted the first printing. But nowadays everything's kind of changed, it all depends on, character making an appearance. But what I noticed that is almost always, fact is that if you have a cover that stands out and it's or if it's like really limited and it stands out and it can only improve interest in that cover. So I don't know which one's going to hit, but I'm getting different ones, and I think for the prices that I'm paying, that's the third printing. This is the fourth printing of number 1, right? These are worth really nothing, $5 each, with shipping and taxes. You're looking at $10, $11 each. I'll see if I can get 9.8s. Hold on to them. What the hell? New York Comic Con one. I'm going to see if I can get that. This one in a 9.8. I sent one of these before, and it got rejected. This is not the one that got rejected. One that got rejected, I'm sending it to my presser, Gary Kendra, and I'm going to resubmit that. Hope to get a 9.8 after this resubmission. This is the big one I'm specking on. This one is limited to 300 issues. That one's limited to 500 issues. This one's limited to 300 issues, and it's a store variant, Comics and Oddities. This is called the Blood variant. I've shown this many a times. I got all of my issues came back at 9.8s in this. Saw this on eBay. It was getting sold with this one, which was a regular variant by Jenny Frizen, and got this for $70-something. It was it was too hard to resist to get another one. I think even if this one comes back at a 9.8, that it'll pretty much be like my cost probably for the entire run. For these two, that means, right? It'd probably be cost but truth is, I don't know which one's going to be the hottest one. I'm assuming that it'll be the 300 limited prints. The foil cover is my favorite cover out of all of them, right? Limited to 300. And the foil cover is going for a lot more than that one, and they're both 300. But the first print right now is making a pretty decent run. Going for over 200, that first print, a 9.8. So let's look at Something's Killing the Children from Comic-Con. 33,648 was the total print, which is not bad for a modern book. 2019, 33,000, not bad at all, right? That's less than half what Ultimate Fallout 4 was in 2011. When you go at the CGC population, the first print, right now, 121 CGC 9.8s. Total, it's 140 CGC graded for the first print. Keep in mind, there's 33,000 of those babies out there. Over 33,000. This has so many first print variants. Something's Killing Children #1. It's a whole bunch of variants, and my favorite ones are the Comics and Oddities because they're limited to 300, and I like the covers. Right now, there's 38 9.8s in that Blood variant, which is That one right there. There's only 38 of them. That actually makes me happy because I have quite a few of those. All right. There's 43 total in the blood variants. That means that there's over 250 only that can get graded. That's it. You can only have 250 more of those, okay, to get graded. And right now we got 496s, 194, whatever. But if you go to the foil, same thing almost, right? 52 9.8s, 9 9.6s. I got 3 of those. Damnation. 61 in total. So that less than 250 of those are left to get graded, if they're going to get graded. I mean, there's collectors that don't even like graded comics. You know, I could never understand that, to tell you the truth. I can understand, like, if you're going to get a book and you're going to read the book, but I would not get a 300 issue limited book to flip through the pages. I'm not doing that. I'll get the first print for that, or maybe even if they have a second or third printing, I'll get that. But I wouldn't flip through a limited book. This one is the 4th printing. Not too many people sending those in. 2. And the same with the 3rd printing. And then you got the New York Comic Cons, the one that's limited to 500, right? But you guys get it. It's like right now there's not too many on CGC censors, but I think it's because it hasn't gotten so hot yet. But I think that book is going to end this decade as a grail for this decade. And I'm like 100% sure of that, and my wallet is saying it. But anyway, those are getting put into this batch for the 9.8s. I'm sending in some more cycle lists. This is Kevin Graveau. Love the writer. This is the guy that created the Blue Marvel. Did a video on that. No, not too many people saw it though. But I just love the dude. You know, he is minority writer, right? One of the very few black writers out there right now. You know, and I support him, man. I support him. I support what he does. You know, he was the creator of I, Frankenstein as well. You know, I love this book. I got 4 9.8s out of this batch, and I got this batch right out of Black Box Comics because my my comic shop wasn't selling these, so I went right to Black Box and got 10 of them. You know, so I'm gonna send 3 more out, hopefully, to get 3 more 9.8s. Out of the 4, I only have 3 left, and I gave 1 as a gift actually. So I only have 3 9.8s right now. That's limited to 2,300 copies. So if that ever becomes something, that might become a little bit valuable. Maybe. Who knows? Either way, I don't mind specking. You know, I make money from other books, and it gives me the luxury to wait on quite a few others and to keep. This is Generations, and what drew me to this is just the cover, right? I got this from Mr. Roman, you know. He threw this in as a freebie for me, and a lot that I won from him on one of the YouTube auctions. And this is a beautiful copy, and I can't see this not being a 9.8. And obviously that's a great cover for X23. And I think if it comes back, I think I can flip it. If it comes back at a 9.8, I can flip it pretty fast. Got this one from Mr. J Blitz. I have 3 or 4 9.8s on this already, but in old labels. I've had them for over 20 years. Around 20 years, maybe. Maybe I shouldn't say over, but around 20 years I've had them since I sent them in. And what the heck? If I get this one in a new label 9.8, I'm gonna sell one of my old labels. But it looks like a 9.8 to me. And then this cover you guys saw already. This is another potential Grail character. Obviously, the book that you want from her is Justice League 31. Also, Justice League 30. And there's another book in here that I'm going to show you where she actually first makes her appearance. This is a cheap book right now in a 9.8. You can get this book for $50 or less in a 9.8. After taxes and everything, it's going to cost you around $60, which is what my cost for my 9.8 on this was. And quite simply, it's the cover. This cover just gets you. You know, it's a freaking beautiful cover. Sorry guys, I got the hiccups. This was in case you guys are wondering, this is Justice League Odyssey number 10. This is the variant by Perillo. Justice League Odyssey 10 is limited to 24,000 copies. I tried looking for print run on this variant. I could not find one. So I cannot say that this is 1 in 10 or 1 in 25. I doubt it very seriously. I think it would have said it. More than likely, this is probably going to be a 1 in 4. But when you have a 24,000 lot, you're looking at 6,000 of these only in existence, right? Not bad, and it's cheap. It's cheap. If you like the character, this is a must. A must. I'm going to keep my 9.8, and I'm going to keep these. And if this character becomes a Grail character, if she becomes a character like I think she is going to be, this is going to be a really good investment on this book, or a really good spec on this book. And you know, speculation is, you know what it stands for? Gamble. That's what speculation is. I got 3 of them for $20. Got them for $3 really, but after shipping and taxes, it came out to $19 and change. But the other one, which is right here, doesn't have a shot at a 9.8. See that? And that's I figured that I can get the 9.8 cheaper than $50. But obviously you don't count on getting damaged books. But you know, if I can get one 9.8, you know, the thing about the pre-screen is that if it doesn't pre-screen at a 9.8, they charge you $5, but it's not the full grading fee, so you're not losing that much. If I can get one 9.8 out of this batch, out of these 2, it'll be less than buying a 9.8 online still anyway. If I don't get any in a 9.8, then maybe I should have just bought one online. We'll see how that goes. It's a gamble, but this one's going to go in my collection if I get a 9.8. Big Thanos fan. My favorite villain of all time. I don't even think that the dude is a villain, to tell you the truth. Like, is he an anti-hero? I don't think he's a villain. There's a certain way that this guy thinks that I happen to think myself, you know. But if I get a 9.8 on this, it's going to my collection. And if I don't, and you know, it'll probably still be one in my collection anyway. It's just not going to be graded, even though I do have another copy of that. So this is the first appearance of Jessica Cruz. She makes a cameo in here. This is Green Lantern number 20. Now the books that you want to have out of those, oh well, I shouldn't even say that you want to have, but the most valuable books out of those are probably going to be the combo packs. And these were limited, and you could only find them in certain places. I think the combo packs, I want to say it was Walmart, but either way, you want to see the combo pack. This one actually had a sketch cover as well, but I see more sketch covers than the combo packs, so I went after the combo pack. And of course, I shown this one before. This cover has grown on me quite a lot. I'm not a fan of the character. I've said it multiple times. But this is a freaking beautiful cover, you know. It's limited to 1 in 25, but it's not too limited a copy. There's going to be around 12,000 of these. So is that limited? It's not that much limited. I mean, it's not impossible to find, let's put it like that, at 12,000. But based on the 300,000 print run, yeah. I don't know if I'll ever like this character. I obviously got to read a lot more into her. I don't know if they're trying to make her like a Harley Quinn. Tinian is trying to make her like a Harley Quinn. That is the right guy to get, you know, to create a character, though. I mean, he's so freaking talented, this Tinian, you know. James is the guy that created Erica Slaughter. So, you know what? Not out of the question that this character is going to stay hot or get even hotter. But the truth is that these 4 books were spec books for me. And I'm definitely going to try to flip 3 of them fast. And then maybe hold the 4th. This is assuming I get 9.8s on all 4. If I get, say, 2 9.8s, I'm going to try to flip them both to get my money back. If it stays hot, I could end up losing money on that. Coffin Bound. Now, this was a comic top 10, but when he wasn't even looking at this cover, right? He was looking at the ash can. They were talking about the first print and the ash can. That was going for like over $100 at the time with the Comic Tom. And that's why I say, look, man, do your homework and just use that for information. Sorry. This is limited in 400 copies. Now, when I first saw Coffin Bound, I thought this was like Mad Max. It isn't really, though. It really isn't. It's a very weird story. Very weird story. But the character's freaking badass. And she's gothic, too. But she's a badass character. And the artist, Danny, does a phenomenal job here on this. I don't even know if this book is ever going to take off, if the character, not the book, but because a lot of people did like the character. This is the kind of book that you're either going to love or you're going to hate, because if you hate it, it's because you don't understand it. But it's an interesting story, to say the least. But it's not your typical comic book. It's almost like what Boom puts out, but this is Image. I got 4 of these, limited to 400 copies. That store variant too. But if the character ever becomes something, if the show ever gets option, if she gets a movie or something, I can flip 3 fast if they come back as 9.8s. Haunt. This is a collaboration between McFarlane and Kirkman. I knew about this character, but I was watching Thorough, and he was talking about it, keeping it thorough, and I respect his opinion on many things. We actually think alike. And I ended up, this is a project that they never even finished this project. But for $20, ended up paying, like, with shipping and everything, around $27. I'll see if I can get a 9.8 and just hold it. I mean, that's McFarlane art right there, you know, and a Kirkman story. Hey, I mean, it's not bad, right, to spec on, I don't think. And then here's the two, right? Now let's show you this one first. This is the Ultimate Fallout 3, and these are the Italian editions. Just as nice as the regular ones. I mean, they're freaking gorgeous. They're beautiful books. Beautiful books. When you see that? That's is that euros, I guess, or pounds? I guess it'd be euros in Italy, right? Bendis started the Ultimate Spider-Man and killed him and made him. So you kind of, these two go together. See, you got Peter Parker's world, and you got Morales' world right there. Like the way that they that Djurjevic did this, you know. And this was the end of Peter Parker, and that's why I didn't get into this. I'm a Spider-Man purist. He killed off Spider-Man. I hated him, even though it was Ultimate Spider-Man, right? I didn't really get into the story. I heard about it, obviously, but I didn't get into it. Wish I had now. Everybody wishes. Now keep this in mind that Miles Morales took from 2011 to, I don't know, probably about 7 years for him to get hot, right? Something's Killing the Children is starting to get hot right now, and nothing's really happened with that yet. Now, Morales had a much better shot, I think, because he's in the Spider-Man universe, right? Any character from that universe can get hot really quick because it's Spider-Man. But I'm hoping that this book right here, even though it's an Italian version, still holds a lot of value because it's pretty much the same cover except it's a different language, and I know it's worth a hell of a lot more than what I paid for it. I only paid, I said this before, right around $400 in total for both of those books. Very happy about that deal. So that's the pre-screen that I'm sending in. I'm going to have another pre-screen probably when, not probably, it will be when the Venom 26s come in, because there's 10 of them that are coming in. But that's the pre-screen, guys. I'll have another video for a 25 count that I'm going to be sending the CGC, and some of them are going to be slabbed. You know what, might not even be a 25, that one, it might be less, but I'll have a video for that later, guys.